not one, not two, but three people who you might not expect who want to challenge for the 205-pound title.
Oh, Jesus Christ. No, there's four. I'm here too.
Well, no, that's the one I expect.
No, Anthony, you're invisible.
Yeah, I'm just, just fuck us,
Well, who are the people, Harrington?
I mean, fuck the guys that are actually in the division.
Mm-hmm. Hold on. Let's hear him out, Anthony Smith. I want to hear who these viable contenders are. They've been working away, Anthony. They've been slogging. They haven't been on beaches in Aruba. They've been in the gym. They've been pounding that bag. Go on. What have we got?
That is rude. So Jan Blachowicz says that he would be interested in a rematch with Izzy at Israel Adesanya's natural weight, right? He took the fight against Israel Adesanya for the 205-pound title. He says he can make 185, go down there and challenge Israel Adesanya. He's interested in that fight, right? So that's.
What do you think of that, Anthony? What do you think? I think that's a bit of a stretch.
I don't think he can make the weight. He is a big goddamn guy. If he could make it, the only thing, I mean, obviously with the Pereira thing going on, but like, if he could make it, I think he has a claim to a title shot because he's already got a win over him. But I just don't think he can make the weight. He
said he used to fight at 90 kilos, which is about 200 pounds when he was Thai boxing. But that was a long time ago. When you're younger, you can be lighter. Yeah. So, hey, listen, if he can make the weight, I think he would match it well because he'd be faster. He'd lose a bit of power. He'd lose a little bit of that weight to struggle to hold Izzy down. But, hey, listen, if you can do it, then why the fuck not?
Why not?
Harrington, go on, then continue with the rest of your diatribe.
Number two, the 170-pound champion, Kamaru Usman, says that after his win against Leon Edwards, he is going to jump over 185. No interest in fighting Israel Adesanya for the middleweight title. Wants to go straight to 205 and challenge whoever is the title holder in that.
Anthony Smith, the floor is yours.
Why? Why? Because he wants to be a double champ and he can't, and he won't fight Israel Adesanya. They won't fight each other, which is weird to me a little bit. Like, I know that there's some, there's some national pride. I think that's some of it. It's just it's a Nigeria thing. But it's not like they train together. Like, I don't get the vibe that they're really good friends and they hang out. It's like back in the day when Brazilians used to not want to fight each other. I think we're kind of past some of that.
Americans fight each other all the time.
All the time. So I don't see the issue there. I think 170 is a
Can I jump in there?
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean,
because I'm trying to figure out how to say something without, like, I don't want to trash him because I like Usman a lot, but like he's a big jump, dude.
Usman's a great guy. He's impossible not to like because when you talk with him, he's a great man. He's a perfect gentleman. Obviously in the cage, he's fantastic. So yeah, no, of course, there's no insults here, but it's just an opinion on that. And I'm of the same train of thought as you. Listen, Izzy's great and Kamaru's great, and they both represent Nigeria, and that's a huge thing because obviously, the more eyeballs on the sport and more inspiration for the people of Nigeria, to know that they can turn their lives around and all the rest of it, because I don't know too much about Nigeria, but I know life's hard there for a lot of people. So that's great. But I just think if they fought one another, it would be an even bigger spectacle. And they could even do that in Nigeria. If I'm not mistaken, it has the largest economy out of all the African countries. So there's definitely got a stadium, I'm sure. How big would that be? And what a spotlight for Nigerian MMA. And, they find out who's the best. They both make a shit ton of money. And there's no hard feelings in it. It's literally sport,
Right.
But...
Yeah, Usman is a big welterweight. He is a small middleweight. It would be a really small 205er. So I don't know, that part of it. And it could be him just saying he wants, maybe it's a headlines thing, it's a media thing or whatever. But I think Izzy and Usman is that's the better fight. But
from your perspective, Anthony, obviously you're pushing hard. You want to get through Ankalaev and you want to get a title fight. How frustrating is it for you right now that there is obviously there's a new champ with Yuri. There's rumors of rematches with Glover. There's Jan. There's Kamaru Usman now. You know, talking
Fucking
about title
DC.
fights. Oh yeah, that's right.
Fucking
DC. DC saying he'd come back for one more at light heavyweight. I mean,
Oh, we can't wait to see DC next week. So listen, DC, you worry about you. You just be retired and be fancy and do your thing at the commentary. You just leave us alone. You made your money.
Hey, he did make his money and he had quite the career. But let's just be honest. DC,
He's not making
he ain't
205.
making 205 anytime ever again. In fact, I'm doing a YouTube video on this.
I agree
DC's
with you,
fucking great. Every time he works for the UFC, I heard that he's got to go up in suit sizes. Every time. He's like, needs a bigger one, needs a bigger one, needs a bigger one. Hello, Rebecca.
Oh, I love DC, but he's not. I'll be retired by the time DC makes 205 again.
He ain't making 205 anytime soon. But shout out DC. Just such a great guy, isn't he? Love being around that guy.
I love being around him.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah, you know, I feel it's good for the division for sure, because it's getting a lot of attention right now, which is always a good thing. I think Yuri Prohaska is making business decisions. You know what I mean? I think he's a smart guy. I mean this with the absolute most respect to everyone involved in the next phrase I'm about to say.
Oh, this is good. I mean this with the absolute most respect.
I mean, and I
don't go fuck yourself.
But they all need to look when they hear me say things like this, they need to remember that this is coming from a person who's in the same division as you, within a couple spots of you in the rankings. So don't be shocked that I fucking believe this. But if I'm Yuri Prohaska and I'm staring down the pipe at my next opponent, and it's Glover Teixeira or the winner of Anthony Smith and Magomed Ankalaev, and you're making business decisions, who are you choosing? It's going to be Glover Teixeira every time. It's going to be like, he looked old for the first time. Why do you say?
You mean from a perspective of winning the fight and solidifying that and still be the champ, or pay-per-view points in terms of business?
Both. I think if you're making business decisions, you have to look at the risk to reward in taking tough matchups and how hard that fight is going to be. You can already play off of. There's going to be highlights for days in the promo of the previous fight to sell the next one. In my opinion, it's fight of the year right now. Probably the most exciting title fight in 205 history, in my opinion. So you can sell it off of that. And it's the monster is the monster you know. He already knows what he's getting himself into. It's a totally new opponent. It's a new problem when you look at Ankalaev and myself. And I think Ankalaev and myself deal with the problems that Yuri knew that Glover wasn't gonna stand with him. The whole basis of that game plan was to take him down, and so that's an easier problem to deal with. You know what Glover's bringing. He has to take you down. He can't strike with you. He can't say that for Ankalaev and myself. We're both better than he is on the ground. We're both better wrestlers, and we both can stay in a trade with him. So, I think that if you're making business decisions, you're gonna try to get that Glover fight. I also think if the UFC was gonna book that fight, if that was the plan, I think that they would have already done it. I think that they're waiting on the Ankalaev and myself fight to happen and go from there.
See and how that one kind of plays out.
If we stink it up, then maybe they give it to Glover. But if it goes the way that I think it's going to go, I don't think they're going to have a choice. They're going to have to give it to me.
Interesting. I can't say I disagree with you, to be honest. When it comes to business, because it was a crazy fight. Glover is on, let's be honest, if he fights again, if he loses, let's say he got that fight. If he lost, that would be his last fight. If he won, then he'd probably go on again. But interesting. I just had a thought there. For next week when you're fighting, I'm going to do a watch along.